freaking clown.
Yeah, and you're a pregnant.
That's what you are.
And you're a pregnant.
No!
What?
Oh, guys,
It's okay. It's okay. No. No.
Go and sell your butt plug pictures online.
This goddamn shoe.
This isn't even about Gino and Jasmine anymore. This is a Jasmine and Rob story. Now, if you've been waiting all season for the tell-all in order to find out some new information, some revelations about Jasmine's pregnancy, well, you might be disappointed. Jasmine's pretty tight-lipped. There's not really too much that we don't already know.
when are you due?
Prefer not to share.
Yeah, make of that what you will. She'd rather not say, she'd rather not, I'd suggest, incriminate herself. But as we're about to see shortly, Jasmine isn't going to take any accusations lying down. She's going to fight fire with fire. Now, before we get into that, let's set the scene and start at the beginning. So, Gino arrives to the tell-all, solo obviously, and he reveals right off the bat that he's got some juicy secrets that he's ready to spill. I really hope that Matt will make an appearance, he says, so that I can tear him down.
If Matt so happens to show up as part of the tell-all, I've got some dirt for him and I'm gonna make him cry.
Gino's funny, man. He's unintentionally funny. When he tries to be threatening, it just doesn't work, does it? It comes across as weird rather than threatening.
You couldn't. You're the worst sexual person in the world.
Like, you're gonna make Matt cry, are you, Gino? Matt stole your wife, you gave him blessings to sleep with your wife. Like, he's having the baby that you wanted, so let's just be honest here. Who's the one that's crying? I'd suggest it's you, Gino. Now, as for Jasmine, she's running late. Now, keep in mind, most of the cast at this point don't actually know that Jasmine is pregnant. But while she's in the car on the way to the studio, she wants us all to know that despite everything that's happened, she still loves Gino.
Gino thinks that he has to make me look bad rather than taking accountability of the mistakes that he made during our marriage. On my side, I can say that I could never hate someone that I love that much.
Interesting, I'm not sure what to read into that. Did you notice how, aside from saying she still loves Gino, she's also still wearing her wedding ring? Does that mean she's not with Matt? Is she trying to visually show Gino that she's still somehow committed to him? Now, I do need to say something about Jasmine, right? I need to clarify my stance on this. There's been a lot of comments saying that I'm blind to all of Gino's flaws. If you've watched me for any length of time whatsoever, and please go back and re-watch some of my older Gino and Jasmine videos, you'll know that I don't condone the way that Jasmine was treated throughout her marriage. Like, I've been pretty clear about that. I've called Gino out for being financially abusive, from using intimacy, from withholding sex as a control mechanism. But let's just also be clear about this. Jasmine doesn't need Gino to quote unquote make her look bad. She's done that all by herself. Now, while Jasmine is running late, the show must go on, so the tell-all begins without her.
Normally I come in here and I have good news for you, but today I don't.
You don't.
I do not, because Jasmine and I, we separated.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Now, on an average day, for an average tell-all, this would be shocking news, but today, not so much. It's been an open secret, we've all known about this for months now. Heck, Gino himself has been DMing other women about it. Like, sorry, this is hardly as shocking, at least to us, as it appears to be to Florian. But it's at this point that Jasmine has now arrived in the building. And whether by luck or by design, whether she really was running late or this is just a ploy from the producers, the scene has now been set for quite the entrance.
Hi, everyone.
Oh my God! Oh!
Surprise.
Everyone's shocked, like Julia's stunned expression speaks for them all. But it's Gino's reaction that's the pick of the bunch. He looks like a bad smell has just wafted into the room, and if that doesn't immediately tell you the state of their relationship, then I don't know what would. But despite all the questions and all the commotion, Jasmine wants to try and keep a lid on all the drama.
When are you due?
Prefer not to share. We have superstitions in my family. We don't say like how long you are or the gender.
I'm sorry, we weren't born yesterday. She can say it's superstition all she wants, but we all know she just doesn't want us doing the math. But I'm sorry, I am going to do it anyway. Let's just do a little bit of back of the napkin working out here. It doesn't take a genius to work out, look at her, that she's pretty far into her pregnancy, right? Now, The Last Resort was reportedly filmed in March 2024, and we know The Tell-All was filmed in January 2025. So that means if she wasn't already pregnant during filming, in the 1 or 2 weeks that they spent at the resort, then she must have got pregnant pretty darn soon after returning home. And needless to say, Gino is not the father.
Are you the father of Jasmine's baby?
I am not.
Okay, then it has to be Matt. Is that right?
Yes.
Matt is the father of your baby.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awkward. Very awkward. Now, remember, most of the women, her closest friends at the resort, didn't think it was a good idea for Jasmine to be opening up her marriage. And as for the men, well, we all know how they felt about it. So now that Jasmine has shown up pregnant and smiling, pregnant by the very man that she told everyone not to worry about, yeah, it doesn't exactly look good for her, does it? But, she says, this wasn't my plan.
Jasmine, was this a planned pregnancy?
No.
You did not plan this at all?
No.
Again, this is hardly a big revelation. I think we all assumed that this pregnancy was an accident. The last we saw her, she was desperately trying to convince everyone, Gino included, that this wouldn't happen and that she loved Gino more than anything in the world. Matt, she wanted everyone to believe, was just helping her marriage. So with that in mind, it goes without saying that this news has rocked Gino's life. It's changed everything for him. Remember, Gino was very vulnerable and honest. He was very vocal about wanting a child with Jasmine. He wanted his own family more than anything in the world. So you can imagine how this development has been devastating for him.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, we were talking about having a child together, but she told me, no, I don't want to have a child with you. Now she's having a child with another man.
Gino's feelings are of course warranted, but you know who's being overly emotional about this whole thing? Rob. He was way too passionate in his stance on Gino and Jasmine's open relationship back at the resort, and he still seems to have strong opinions about it now. He's determined to wag his finger and say, I told you so.
I just knew that this was all a plan for Jasmine to be able to be with Matt.
Do I have to explain myself to you?
No, you don't have to explain yourself to me.
Rob is angry on behalf of his friend Gino. Like, I get it. I understand that he saw it coming a mile off. But what is this? What he's doing here isn't okay. He's attacking a pregnant woman. He's making fun of her accent. Like, don't get me wrong. He doesn't have to agree with Jasmine. He doesn't have to like her. But what he's doing here is nasty.
You are a cheating wife.
You are a clown. Okay? You are a freaking clown.
Yeah, and you're a pregnant
That's what you are.
and you're a pregnant.
There's this scary hatred in Rob's voice. I don't know where it stems from. This isn't his wife, it's not his problem. Why does this feel so personal to him? Like, the hypocrisy doesn't escape me. He himself is a man that's cheated on his own wife. Like, is it any wonder that Jasmine doesn't sit back and just take this? Jasmine is fiery at the best of times, let alone when she's pregnant and hormonal. She's in full-blown mama bear mode. She's not going to take this from anyone, especially when Rob's reaction, his name-calling, was completely uncalled for.
Oh, no!
What?
Guys,
It's okay. It's okay. No.
What is wrong with him?
You knew I was gonna come out here and talk my and I'm gonna talk my
Shut the up.
You shut the up.
Now, let's just be clear. Rob was wrong for mocking her accent and calling her a whore, but Jasmine is wrong for getting up and physically attacking him. She's the one that's escalated this to a whole new level here. Those are some serious high heels that she had on. Her temper, her complete loss of all control, could have easily, quite conceivably in the heat of the moment, taken his eye out. Yeah, Jasmine was wrong for throwing her shoe, point blank, period. But now that this has completely escalated out of all control, now that everyone is standing and screaming insults at each other, Gino jumps up and begins yelling at Jasmine too.
You're a is what you are.
You know, because she's
Gino, up until this point, was calm, but now that he's seen Rob's reaction, he's begun to mirror him. He's not only jumping up and echoing his body language, but he's using the same words too. He's calling her a f***ing whore. Now, I'm no psychologist, but Gino has always displayed very neurodivergent behaviour. It's just a theory, maybe someone with more expertise on this matter can let me know down in the comments, but given what we saw on The Last Resort, given how much he valued his friendship and being part of the group of boys, I wonder how much of Gino's anger is almost so that he can feel a camaraderie with Rob. I mean, Rob seemed to have far more of an issue with Jasmine than Gino did just a few minutes ago. But whatever the case, wherever the truth lies, one thing is absolutely certain. Jasmine is furious. She's determined to now get her revenge on Rob. She wants to humiliate him.
Idiot that sell your pictures online, stabbing your ass with butt plugs, and you call whore.
Oh gosh, this has escalated fast. Yeah, Jasmine was never going to take that lying down. She was always going to fight fire with fire. Now, she screams to everyone that she has photos, she has proof of everything she's saying. And let's not forget, this isn't the first time that we've heard these sorts of allegations be levelled against Rob. His own wife came out with IG stories in which she accused him of cheating on her with a man. But now, if Jasmine's to be believed, Rob also has an OnlyFans account that caters towards men. Now, whether true or not, and you've got to say Rob's reaction to that was rather interesting, it did very quickly shut him up. He did soon after leave the stage with his tail between his legs.
She been waiting all week to talk about my ass.
But either way, regardless of Jasmine insisting that she has the photos and the videos as proof, the fact is, this is getting completely off topic. Like, maybe that's what Jasmine wanted. Suddenly, Jasmine's pregnancy is no longer the big news. Now, it's very obvious that Sean has completely lost control of the room. She's not going to be able to bring this back. So, with security intervening and with them separating the men and the women and hoping that everyone has the time to cool off, it's here that Jasmine seizes the opportunity to try and regain a little bit of control over her own narrative.
I'm not gonna come here like to pretend like I'm a angel. Yes, I another dude. I'm pregnant, and I was an open marriage.
Jasmine tries to explain to the girls that she knows she's not perfect. She knows she's massively f***ed up. But, she says, it's happened. There's no going back now. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. And while she's saying that, over on the other side of the building, Gino is expressing his gratitude to Rob. Thank you for having my back in there, he says.
Yeah, thanks. And I appreciate your support, so thank you for that. Jasmine's
She's a manipulator.
a hoe. Jasmine is a hoe.
And she finessed you to get everything she wanted.
Now, while Josh and Florian are stood there like, this is none of my business, Rob has taken centre stage. He's still more irate, and pardon the pun, but he's still more butthurt about this situation than even Gino is. Now, whether it's being fueled by hatred or humiliation, what he says next, in my opinion, completely crosses the line. It's repugnant.
Honestly, I think she got pregnant on purpose so that she could show up at this tell-all pregnant so that everybody would have her back and everybody be supportive. Matt, that baby.
Hey.
What a horrific thing to say. Like, forget the stupidity of him claiming that Jasmine got pregnant on purpose to get sympathy, which makes no sense. But for him to insult an innocent unborn child is unforgivable. Hate Jasmine, hate Matt, but the baby has done nothing to you. That, for me, is just not okay. It's not okay to speak like that. Now, a little while later, they're escorted back onto stage, and with Gino popping off for a quick bathroom break,
Am I able to go to the bathroom?
everyone else takes their seat, but within seconds, it all flares up again. After Stacey urges everyone to remember that Jasmine is pregnant, Rob says he doesn't care, calls her a whore, and then begins to make fun of her again.
You walked in and was like, I'm pregnant, and all the girls was like,
Guys,
bro,
guys.
give me this goddamn.
I'm gonna do
I love the drama as much as anyone, right? But this is starting to get embarrassing to watch. These are adults bickering and fighting on TV like this. Now, Rob, fueled with anger and bitter and resentful at what Jasmine said about him, takes Jasmine's shoe, goes backstage and tries to break it. And while watching this, while seeing his anger bubble over in this way, it is impossible not to remember all the allegations that have been levelled against him. The last time I spoke about that, YouTube demonetized my video, so I'm going to be very careful with my words, but I'm going to state facts here. This is a man who's been arrested not once, but twice for aggravated assault. But instead of calming down, Rob instead storms outside and tosses Jasmine's shoe.
Then we can her goddamn shoe up.
Well done, Rob. I hope you feel proud of yourself. That will teach her. Good for you, tough guy, f***ing up a shoe. Now, oblivious to what's just happened, Gino returns from his bathroom break, having missed all of what's just happened. And as Rob returns back on stage, having destroyed Jasmine's shoe, it's left to production to go and retrieve it before filming can begin again. Jasmine is made to promise that she won't throw it again, and poor Sean is left trying to regain a semblance of control.
There is no throwing anything at each other. Those actions will lead to a removal. And please let us not use language that crosses the line.
And perhaps wisely, after this, the conversation quickly moves away from Gino and Jasmine. You've got to say, although we've barely heard a peep from Gino, it was Rob doing all of the talking, it is probably for the best that they focus on other couples for the time being. The truth is, this entire segment was completely derailed. What should have been an opportunity to learn more about what actually happened instead became entirely about Rob and the photos and the accusations that Jasmine levelled against him. And I guess, worried about being exposed in that way, attempting to regain control of his narrative, Rob comes back to that later on in the day to try and clarify a few things.
One of my close friends does that online, and we were posting together. My first 10,000 followers on socials were all homosexual. I'm not interested in them.
So, what exactly have we learnt today? We've learnt that Gino and Jasmine are separated, we've learnt that her pregnancy was by accident, and we've learnt that Rob has major anger issues and he may or may not be in the closet. It's a lot to unpack, and I can't wait to see what next week brings.